It's Fairy Phoenix.
Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to Fairy Phoenix. If this is your first time passing through my channel, be sure to subscribe and leave a like. And if you've been on the channel before but you've not yet subscribed, go ahead and do so. I'd love to have you as a member of the Fairy Phoenix 7 family. Now today guys, we're going to be talking about Lake Lanier. Now some weird stuff has been happening there. People have been dying, like every year hundreds of people die there. A lot of weird things have been happening and people are wondering what the hell is going on. Now we're going to be dissecting that, but let's go for a break and come right back. Now today we're going to be talking about Lake Lanier. Now guys, this lake in Georgia over there in Atlanta has been trending for quite some time now for the disasters that have been happening there. But before I get into it, let me give you some background on this lake, okay? Now back in the 50s, this was a community, a black community with hundreds and hundreds of people. But for some reason, the powers that be decided that that particular community would be the perfect place to channel the Chattahoochee River to generate hydroelectricity and also to prevent low plains from flooding. And also they wanted to make it a tourist resort, okay? They might not say that up front, but that was one of the main things, okay? Because that is what it is today. So what they did was they tried to buy out the resident. Now, to live in Lake Lanier these days, you have to pretty much be a millionaire because it's very expensive to live there. But back then, they paid the people like $50 an acre. This was in the 50s. And people just pretty much gave away their property for little or nothing. Now, of course, you had a lot of people who didn't want to move. Usually in these kind of circumstances, people hold out. Now, those people who didn't want to move were forced away from their homes, okay? Now, once they got everybody away, remember that this was a thriving community. We had just been free pretty much from slavery a few decades, and we're now building. We had churches, raceways, graveyards, all these different things, right? Now, the people who came in and started building, the Army Corps of Engineers, they're the ones who came in and started preparing for this lake, this man-made lake. Now, when they came in, they didn't clear the land completely. That it started clearing it, and I guess somebody came up with a bright idea to say, well, why do we need to clear all this land? Let's just flood it, because it's not going to be seen anyway. So what happened is that they went ahead by 1956 or so, they started now to channel the water from the Chattahoochee River into this community. And this particular lake is higher, deeper than the Statue of Liberty, okay? That's how much water they channeled from this Chattahoochee River to the community. So this community is now buried, but they buried it with all of the history. And a few years ago, there was a drought. And when the drought came, of course, the water subsided. And look at some of the images now that they're seeing underneath it.
Clear and calm on the surface, Lake Lanier is anything but.
You can get yourself in trouble really quickly.
Lanier was built in the 1950s to provide drinking water and hydroelectric power for Atlanta. Recreation was an afterthought.
As they were building the lake, they raised the water level up to a certain point well below what we know of today as full pool, and then stopped filling the water.
From there, construction crews floated on the lake, cutting off the trees about halfway.
So today, those stumps are still there, and they're tall because this was forest land and farmland.
Also beneath the surface, old homes, barns, even a racetrack, which famously surfaced during the 2007 drought. You could see the tops of the stands, a haunted memory, waiting for spectators to show up for the next race. It's all good now, but when the next drought comes...
When that does, everyone needs to use extreme caution on the lake.
The Forsyth or Hall County dive teams respond to every rescue and recovery call.
Generally within the first hour, we're in what we call rescue mode. We're hoping that we can rescue someone.
No, I don't want to lose a diver.
Divers deal with frigid temperatures, near zero visibility, and all of those underwater hazards.
The bridges are like the trash bin for anyone traveling down the roads. They blew the old bridges in place, so you have concrete, rebar.
The divers work in teams, one person in the water and the other on the shore. They're tethered together by a rope and communicate by tugs on the rope. Divers say they never know what they're going to find.
They got a lake.
Definitely,
They got a
bro.
lake in Georgia that people just mysteriously always dying, like disappear. No, this real shit. Like
I
one of my
believe
white
it,
friends
man.
was a lifeguard and jumped in that water and disappeared.
What? So you know someone?
Man, I'm dead ass serious. Like I don't play with no water, man. Look it up.
Wow.
John Barker with Lake Lanier Association has been fighting abandoned docks and boats for years.
And you could actually see a petroleum sheen on the water. I mean, you could see the oil and gas leaching out. It was very obvious.
He's cleaned up more than half a dozen in the past couple of years. He was thinking he'd gotten a handle on it, but as soon as he gets them hauled away, more take their place.
And there it sits, and so now we got to struggle with, how to get it off.
The owner of this houseboat tells a familiar tale. She pictured fun and sun. What she got was a boat that sank almost immediately, and she doesn't have the money to haul it out of the lake. This party cruiser went down Memorial Day weekend. Luckily, the owner hauled the boat out of the water in the last couple of weeks, so Party Cove is safe for the holiday. It's not just boats, it's docks that have broken free.
The neighbors actually named it Beaver Dock.
Remember this one we showed you last July? It had been there so long a beaver built a den on it. It was just hauled away more than a year later. Pieces of jagged metal break off of the boats and docks and lie in wait for tubers, skiers, and swimmers.
I think it's a huge safety issue.
That. So you're seeing now that these, whenever they dock their boats, the boats are sinking. They do not know why the boats are sinking. Whenever they try to, anything they put on this water is pretty much sinking, and they do not know why. Now, a lot of people are saying that this, because as a matter of fact, if you search haunted lake in Georgia, it will just come up. Lake Lanier will just come up, because that is what they call it. And a lot of people are saying that they've seen this woman. She was driving her car back in the 60s, I think this happened, and she drove off the bridge, and they couldn't find her for years. For decades they didn't find her, and after about 20 years they did find her, and she was at the bottom of the ocean in her car. A lot of people are saying that they see this woman haunting the lake. A lot of people are saying they see a raft like on the top of the lake, like they're fishing in the lake and they see a raft. Now this particular lake is also the very lake that Usher's son, I don't know if you know that Usher was married to this lady named Tamika, and her son died. That's the lake that her son drowned at. And it's just so many disasters that are linked to this lake. And many people are saying it's because of the way the place was dealt with, because they didn't come in and treat it with respect, and because of the way the dead were treated. They're saying that they're not being able to rest in peace. And now this is coming back to haunt a lot of these people. Now this is a place that makes billions of dollars a year. And now people are afraid to go there because so many people are dying. The latest person is this young lady who went missing. And, they're saying that that's where she drowned and they're yet to find her. So guys, when you get a chance, go ahead and research this particular lake so that you do not end up there. Be like, oh my God, this is the lake that Fairy Phoenix told me about. Guys, I want to introduce you to my book, How a Player God Played. It is now available on Amazon. You can get yours in soft copy for only $3. How a Player God Played.